All right, what's up everybody? It's Ethan here, coming to you from a place I've shown you before. They call it the scenic trailhead, but this is the trailhead for hiking up to the tallest mountain in southern New Mexico, as well as the most prominent peak in all of New Mexico, which is Sierra Blanca. Sorry, I can't find it on the map. I'm sure it's on here somewhere, but I think it's gonna be somewhere down. Oh yeah, here's Lookout Mountain. So Sierra Blanca is like somewhere down here. It actually might not be on that map. But anyway, it's about 7 in the morning right now, and I'm right outside of Ski Apache ski resort up here near Ruidoso. And I'm gonna be starting in on this trail. If you guys have been following me for over a year, then you might remember that I did this exact hike almost exactly 1 year ago, last July, and it was really beautiful. It's a fairly tough hike, but really beautiful. If you do it without taking any shortcuts, like all the way from this trailhead back to this trailhead, I think it's about 12 miles with about 3,000 feet of elevation gain. But there are ways to shortcut it on the way back, and I most likely will be doing that. And that is basically by hiking down the ski slopes on the way down instead of taking this trail. I'd rather take the trail on the way up though, because it is less steep. But anyway, I'm excited to show you guys this trail again and hopefully get up to the summit of Sierra Blanca as well as Lookout Mountain. I'm doing some training, and for what? That's for me to know and you to find out. But anyway, I will be attempting to do this mountain quite a bit in the coming weeks. So, and I'll take you guys along with me. All right, well, I made it up onto this little saddle here, and I'm at the intersection of a couple of trails. I'm going to be following the Crest Trail and the Lookout Trail. And yeah, a little over 10,000 feet, but if I remember correctly, I'm about to lose all the elevation I just gained up here in a minute. It's a beautiful morning. I mean, oh man, I can't tell you how good it feels up here. It was about 60 degrees, maybe, I think it was like 58 actually, when I started the hike. You know, I camped out last night. I woke up this morning and it was like 55 degrees. Oh my God, it just felt so good. Considering that in El Paso, it has been going over 100 every day for like the last, like over 2 weeks. It's insane. Like it's already 100 degrees usually by like noon every day. And I mean, even when you wake up, you know, I usually wake up for work at about 6:30, and it's already like 85 degrees when I leave my house for work in the morning. It's insane. So it is really nice to be up here. The temperature on the summit is supposed to be about, the high supposed to be about 68, which is pretty warm for 12,000 feet, but I'll take it. 60s, low 70s, that sounds perfect. Lots of wildflowers out on the trail, which is really nice. And I am kind of hiking around part of the ski resort right now. I forgot what a roundabout way this trail takes to get up to Lookout Mountain, the first peak. In the future, I may try going the more direct approach. The only thing that concerns me about that is that it's so direct that from what it looks like, it basically just goes like straight up. Like you gain almost 2,000 feet of elevation in a very short amount of time. Whereas here, you know, there's ups and downs, and it doesn't get too steep until you get closer to Lookout Mountain. Trail's really hard to follow in some spots, though. I will say you definitely got to be I would definitely recommend downloading the All Trails map, because if you get off trail back there in the burn area, it's really annoying because there's a ton of deadfall. I remember this part of the hike very well. So damn steep. Probably can't tell on the video, but it's a very steep trail in this area. Here's a look up. So the gondola is right there. That's where it tops out at. So this viewpoint I'm about to get to in a minute, which I'll show you guys, that's what your $40 gondola ride gets you here at Ski Apache. Beautiful views, and we're at about 11.3. Lookout Mountain is another about 250, 280, something like that, above where the gondola tops out. All right, well, I'm at where the gondola tops out at. Getting amazing views, looking down there to the volcanic fields, White Sands Missile Range. There, that big white spot down there is White Sands National Park. Really beautiful. So this is where that $40 gondola ride drops you off at. Like I said, it's at about 11,300 feet, so pretty high up. But it is $40, so it's not cheap. All right, so I'll tell you what, I will never understand why I see a lot of people, you know, come up here on the gondola and they go look at that viewpoint over there that I just showed you, but they don't want to hike the rest of the way to the summit of Lookout Mountain, even though it's like, I don't know, like a third of a mile and like less than 300 feet of elevation gain. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking like someone who likes to bag peaks, but I would feel like an idiot if I was that close to a tall summit and didn't do it. All right, well, there's the top of Lookout Mountain right there. That is the second tallest mountain in this range, as well as in southern New Mexico. And despite all the crap I just talked about people who don't summit it, I'm not gonna summit it just because I've already been up there like 3 times. So I just don't feel a need to go up there a 4th time. And you can see the summit of Sierra Blanca off in the distance. And it's very intimidating looking final ridge. Okay. Well, there's looking down at Ruidoso. Beautiful views up here, obviously. About 11,500 feet right now. About 80 feet off the summit of Lookout Mountain, which is right up there. So when you're hiking down this like dirt road here up at the top of the ski resort, there's a little side trail right here, and that is what you want to take to go up to the summit of Lookout Mountain. Of course, I will just be continuing straight, and then you see down there the road goes all the way down there, and somewhere right around there there's going to be a break in the fence, and we can go through, and there's really no trail once you go through the fence. That's like leaving the ski property, ski resort property. So once you go through there, there's really no more trail the rest of the way up to the summit. Okay, there's looking back at Lookout Mountain. Here is the break in the fence, and you can see the road I was walking down continues, goes right over there. So you just have to get off the road and cross through right here. There's a trail that keeps going down that way, so there's actually another way to access Sierra Blanca from this trail. It is much more difficult. That trail starts much lower in elevation than where I started. So instead of being like 3,000 feet of gain, it's more like 5,000. But man, it's so beautiful up here. It feels amazing. I mean, after experiencing like 3 straight weeks of 100+ degree weather in El Paso, oh my God, does it feel so nice to be somewhere where it's in like the low 60s and there's like a light breeze. It's incredible. There's the view, hiking on the ridge, white sands out there, the Chihuahuan Desert. This is called the Tularosa Basin down there. All of that is a lot of that is part of White Sands Missile Range, the Carrizo volcanic field down there. The San Andreas Mountains are those mountains that are on the other side of the basin. The Trinity site is down there where they detonated the first atomic bomb. So, as you can see, there's no trail. You just are hiking on the ridge, and I got to go down about another 100 feet, and then we start the lovely climb up to the summit. It's very steep. Especially that last part. If you can see it from down here, that last little final push up to the summit there, it's a massive boulder field. So it never gets really to class 3, but it's a pretty difficult class 2 terrain for like the last, I don't know, 350 feet to the summit. All right, I'm at the bottom of the saddle now, and that means that I got about 800 feet of elevation gain to get to the summit of Sierra Blanca, and this is definitely getting into the toughest part of this hike. No trail, a lot of very steep hiking, boulder fields, the whole 9 yards. So, one thing I forgot to mention earlier is that this mountain is actually on Mescalero Apache, on the Mescalero Apache Indian Reservation. And so it's not on public land. It's not part of Lincoln National Forest, hence why there's no trail. And as far as I know, I think technically you're supposed to ask for permission from the tribe before you hike this trail, or before you hike up to the summit. But I'm gonna be totally honest, I did not do that, and I didn't do it last time, and it seems like it's not really enforced like at all. So I mean, use your best judgment, I guess, but for me, I'm just gonna send it. But once you cross that fence and leave the Ski Apache Resort, you're in the Mescalero Apache reservation from there until you get to the summit. So just something to keep in mind. Like I said, you know, I know the last time I was up here, I didn't see anybody up here, and it's looking the same today. I haven't seen anybody all day except for the guy that was working up at the top of the gondola, and I highly doubt that I'm going to see anybody heading the rest of the way up to the summit. We'll see, maybe I will, but I doubt it. Not from what I've seen, not a lot of people climb this mountain, but for the ones that do, it seems like they don't really use or they don't really contact the tribe beforehand, and it seems to be okay. Like I said, it seems like one of those things that's just not really enforced. But anyway, this is where I'm heading up. Very, very steep. And then the second push, where it's like, you know, actually the final push to the summit, that shit's even steeper. All right, well, I am at the top of that first big stretch, big uphill stretch. There's Lookout Mountain over there, and we are about 100 feet, or not even that, we're probably about 50 feet higher than the summit of Lookout Mountain right now. And we're on this final ridge up to the summit. There it is right there. So we got about 380 feet of elevation gain left. And yeah, this is definitely the steepest and most difficult section of the hike coming up here. It's where, like I said, you can see how it's basically just a big boulder field, and that is the way we have to go. So you could stay like directly on the ridge proper, like right on the spine, but you would encounter some class 3 there. So if you go just off to the right, it stays class 2, but it is a boulder field, so you do have to do some pretty difficult boulder hopping. And it's definitely slow going. But I am going to go for it, take my time, and get up to that summit. All right, I'm in the boulder field, and as promised, it's extremely steep. Every once in a while you can find a little social trail, but they don't last long. So you kind of just have to pick the best way you can to get up this section. There's looking back down the ridge. Whew. Crazy. I was just thinking, I haven't been up to this high of an elevation in a long time. Matter of fact, I think the last time I was up this high was the last time I climbed Sierra Blanca, almost exactly a year ago. El Paso's at about 4,000, so it's decently high, but all the mountains around it are, you know, usually in the 7,000-8,000 foot range. This range is definitely the only one in the area that gets you this high up. Whew. All right, almost there. All right, guys, I did it. I'm up on the summit of Sierra Blanca Peak, 11,981 feet, just 19 feet short of 12,000. This is, as I said at the beginning of the hike, the tallest mountain in southern New Mexico. So the closest place you can go to get taller. Oh, you know what I just saw? A herd of elk. Sorry guys, I got distracted. I saw a herd of elk, and I'm pretty sure they heard me celebrating getting to the summit, and now they're getting the hell out of here. But wow, that's awesome. I mean, that just made this hike even better. Got to see a herd of elk up all the way up here, almost on the summit. They really love to go high in the summertime. It's funny too, because I was actually just thinking that. I was like, am I gonna see, I didn't see any elk on the hike up here. Last year when I did this hike, I saw a ton of elk, and this time I didn't see any, and there we go. So anyway, yeah, this is, like I said, the tallest mountain in southern New Mexico. The next closest place to get taller peaks is in the Sangre de Cristo range in northern New Mexico, like up by Taos, you know, Santa Fe, that area. Man, this is incredible. So you see back over there to Lookout Mountain. Doesn't look so tall anymore, but that is the second tallest peak in the range. Over there, that's actually the third tallest peak in the range. It's called Buck Mountain, about 10,700 something. And then over there is, I forget the name of it. Oh, it's White Horse Mountain. That is the fourth tallest mountain in the range, and that's about 10,250 feet. All the other peaks in this range are under 10,000. But wow, this is just so incredible. You get a perfect view of White Sands. There it is, all down there. When you get up high, you can really get a good perspective of just how big White Sands is. I mean, that is a massive dune field. Looking over there, that is the Sacramento Mountains. That's where Cloudcroft is, another really awesome little mountain town, much smaller than Ruidoso, but really beautiful as well, and lots of hiking trails and cool stuff to do over there as well. There is looking down to Ruidoso, the whole town down there. That town sits at about 7,000 feet. And then all these mountains out in the distance there, those are called the Capitan Mountains. Fun fact about those mountains, that's actually where Smokey Bear comes from. They rescued a bear cub from that mountain range during a forest fire and named him Smokey, and he ended up becoming the mascot for forest fires, or preventing them, I should say. But anyway, wow, what an incredible view. You can see down there to the volcanic fields, all the black rocks down there, the San Andreas Mountains across the Tularosa Basin. You can just see the whole Tularosa Basin, everything all the way down from Oro Grande all the way up to Carrizozo. I mean, just incredible up here. Views for literally hundreds of miles, over 100 miles. And it's just crazy to think that, you know, down there at White Sands or Alamogordo, that is about 4,000 feet, and I'm standing at nearly 12,000 feet. Huge difference, huge difference. This is just incredible. Well, I'm definitely gonna enjoy this well-earned summit break, and I'll get back to you guys in a little bit here. But this is just so awesome, and as you can see, I'm by myself again. It's just me and that herd of elk. Didn't see a single other person the whole way up here. Just same as last summer. Nobody hikes this damn mountain, I'm telling you. I mean, people do, but not very often. I mean, it's a Sunday and there's nobody up here. So this is the worst summit register I've ever seen. All the paper in there is completely destroyed, and you know, no point in signing it. And also I saw this. Fuck Texans. Yeah, fuck you right back. Although I wouldn't say I'm really a Texan. I've only lived there for a year. It's not like I was born and raised there. But anyway, there is a summit log. It just sucks and is pretty much unsignable. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. Everybody's hating on the Texans. Everybody's hating on the Texans, but then at the same time, everybody's also moving to Texas, myself included. Okay, well, I am heading down from the summit of Sierra Blanca. I literally just left. It's right there. I spent a long time up there. I enjoy it up there. It is just so quiet, so peaceful, so beautiful, and just the fact that you just never see anybody up here. It's really awesome. This is a really cool summit, and it really is like a cool feeling when you're standing on top of Sierra Blanca, because like in Colorado, I loved getting up to the 14ers. You know, when I lived there, it was really awesome. You know, when you get to the summit of a 14er, now it would always take away from the experience a little bit, because there was always like, you know, like 10 to 30 other people. Even on the hard ones, like even when I did Crestone Needle, there were like at least 7 or 8 other people up there. But still, it's amazing, it's beautiful, and it's like this huge accomplishment for sure. But it's just like, there's something about it where, like, you know, this mountain is so isolated from any other peaks of its size, you know? Like when you're down there near Alamogordo or Tularosa, and you're looking up at this mountain, and it just looks like this massive towering behemoth of a mountain from down there. It's just really cool getting to experience actually being up here and getting onto this summit. And looking down at all of that stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna try to climb down this boulder field without fucking myself up. And then I'll make my way back over there to where Lookout Mountain is. Okay, well, I'm getting back down to the saddle between Lookout Mountain and Sierra Blanca, which unfortunately means that I'm about to have to climb back up 400 feet to get up to Lookout Mountain again. And then, of course, back over to where the gondolas are, which I will not be taking one down, even though it's always tempting when you walk by them. But nope, I will be just finishing out the hike. But there's looking back up that slope, very steep. And man, it's I'll tell you, it's pretty warm for being at, you know, when I was up at the top there, it was pretty warm up on the summit, but you know, considering how high in elevation I am, but it still feels amazing. I mean, compared to El Paso, it's just, oh my God, it's not even close. I mean, I think it might be like 65 up here right now. And it's probably, given the fact that it's after 11 o'clock now, it's probably about 90, if I had to guess, like 98 degrees already in El Paso, which is just not cool. Okay, back at the top of the gondola, so I'm already past Lookout Mountain. Of course, at about 11,300 feet right now. And so on the way back, I'm not going to be taking the same trail that I hiked up here. I'm going to be doing the, just taking the easier way down the ski slopes. I mean, it's the same amount of elevation no matter what. Still have to go down about, I think it's like from here, it's like 1,600 feet, or yeah, something like that. But it is a little more of a direct route, which of course means that it's steeper, but you know, that's less of a problem for going down, I suppose, unless you have bad knees. Okay, well, I just left the top of the gondola area. I'm starting to head back down a different way, as you can see. And as expected, the only people I saw this whole time so far, I'm sure I'll probably see more people once I get right down to the bottom of the resort, back down near the parking area. But the only people I saw on this hike so far were right there at the top of the gondola. There was like 3 people up there, and then there was the guy working there, of course. But I'm just telling you, like, whenever you do this hike, Saturday, whatever, Sunday, doesn't matter, you're not going to see hardly any people. You definitely won't see anybody up on Sierra Blanca, and it's likely that you won't see hardly any people on the hike up or down either. All right, hiking down through all the ski runs, and look at that, beautiful views over there. White Horse Mountain, Argentina Peak, Nogal Peak over there. There's actually a trail that you can hike that literally climbs all those peaks all the way around, eventually over to Lookout Mountain. And of course you can add on Sierra Blanca. And I was actually on that trail for a little while. It's called the Crest Trail, trail number 25. And it'd be a pretty cool backpacking route. Yeah, a lot of elevation gain, that's for sure. I mean, you're on a ridge the whole time, so you're basically going, you know, up and down, but it does take you over all of the tallest peaks in the White Mountains here, so that's pretty cool. I think it would, I'm not sure how long it is. I think it's something like 40, 50 something miles, don't know exactly, but maybe not that long, I don't know. But definitely more of a backpacking route. I mean, I guess if you're like an absolute lunatic, you could try to do it as a day hike, but for me, I definitely would not attempt to do all that in one day. Okay guys, well, I made it back down to the ski resort, to the bottom of Ski Apache, Definitely a lot a lot more straightforward of a hike if you're looking for a more direct route up to the summit of Lookout Mountain, and then obviously Sierra Blanca as well. I really enjoy hiking up that the Crest Trail, just because, well, the Crest Trail and the Lookout Mountain Trail, just because even though it definitely goes in a more roundabout way, it's a lot more scenic going through there. Like you really feel like you're in the wilderness, you know, whereas here you're kind of just hiking through like ski slopes the entire time. But this is definitely a great way to go down. I will definitely say that. So I am going to go ahead and wrap up this video right now. So this hike ended up being about 10 3/4 miles round trip, and it's about 3,000 feet of total elevation gain if you include the elevation on the way back. Just getting up to the summit, it's about 2,500 feet. And yeah, it's really awesome. Really, really beautiful. Definitely an awesome hike that you can do up to a really tall peak down here, which we don't have many peaks that are that high up here, so, or down here I should say. So makes it even more special. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys soon for some more awesome hiking adventures.